right, today you're going to review everything from chapter 10. You are going to see a little bit of everything that we've done in this chapter. Vocabulary, the first section as always. Here in this next section, you're dealing with lines of symmetry. So you're going to tell me whether it has a line of symmetry or it does not. From 7 to 9, you need to make sure that you know how to label lines, rays, segments, angles, and triangles. Because as you know, if you do not have those labels on there, they are wrong. You cannot just put your two letters for your line and call that good. Because you have to have something on top of it to label it as a line. Does everybody understand that? We had a lot of correcting going on those days where we had that because we didn't put anything. You have to have the label that needs to be there. So if you're classifying an angle, what are you going to have for your label? An angle symbol. If you're classifying a line, what are you going to have for your symbol? A line. And if you don't know the difference, what do you have to help you? You're foldable. We made it for a reason, so please use it. Then you have a couple of pages of test prep that are going to go over all the things we talked about. Parallel, intersecting, perpendicular lines, all of your shapes, your patterns, all kinds of different things you're going to see. Let's please turn to the constructed response on the back. And let's read, please. Describe a pattern. Write a rule using numbers to find the number of squares in any figure in the pattern. So the first thing we have to do is what? Describe that pattern. So let's highlight to make sure we do that. Some of you didn't do the description yesterday. You found the answer, but you didn't give me a description. Okay, and then what else does it tell us we need to do? Write a rule using numbers. Now, yesterday, some of you, when you were trying to describe the pattern, wanted to change it to numbers, but that's not what it asked you. So if it just says to describe the pattern, you have to tell me what's going on in the pattern with what's there. So if it was a shape pattern, you would have to explain it to me in shapes. If it was a number pattern, then you could explain it to me in numbers. On this one, we have to describe it, and then we're going to write a rule using numbers. Okay? Do you have a question? All right, then you're going to need to wait for a second. Let's take a look at the figure first. In number 1, what do you see? Two what? Two squares sitting on top of each other. That's something you need to pay attention to because they are sitting side by side. Yeah, they sure could. Take a look at figure 2. Now I have 4, so what do I add? So I have a row here. How many rows do I have here? 2 rows with 2 in each row. Something that some of you had some struggles with yesterday with our circles on our homework page. Figure 3 has what? And how many rows?
2. 3.
There's actually 3 columns with 2 in each one. Guys, how many times have we talked about these are called what? Going this way. Rows. Going down this way is called columns. So we actually have 3 columns with 2, or you could say 2 rows of 3. But what's the similarity between them? The columns. Let's look at figure 4. We're really good about counting how many total we have. How many are there?
8.
But what else do I notice? I now have 4 columns of 2. Is everybody following that? So if you're looking here, we have 1 column of 2, and now we added another column of 2. Then we added a 3rd column of 2, and now we have 4 columns of 2. Is everybody following that? Okay, so we just described our pattern as we were going through it. Yes? So what are we adding each time? From 1 to 2, what did we add, Bailey? A column of what, though? 2. What are we adding? What are we calling these? 2. What are these? Yes, we have to be specific. So we add 1 column of 2 squares. So add 1 column of 2 squares. And let's put each time. So when you go to the next one, you'll add another column of 2. But that's not how I'm describing the pattern, Logan. That may be giving me an expression. But did it ask us for that? Okay. So you're thinking about what you could be using, yes, but I want you to make sure that you are putting what's going on with those squares. Now, what is it asking about a rule? Okay, so what am I doing every time? But I also know that a rule is typically like, I'm going to add this, I'm going to subtract this, I'm going to multiply this. So what are we doing? This right here, Logan, is what you just talked to me about. You're describing it is not what you said, but now I can use what you wanted to do to begin with. Look at how many you have in the first one. And what am I going to do to get to the second figure? Okay, so if I multiply by 2, can I do that from figure 2 to 3? 4 times 2 gives you what? 6. No, 8. So am I able to do that? So if I have 2 here, and I multiply by 2, what am I going to get here? 4. Okay? If I take this 2, are you with me? And multiply by 2, am I going to get that? Okay, but you can take multiplying the figure number, are you with me, by 2, except that still doesn't work, because 2 times 2 is not 6, right? In the first one, I can do that, yes? So here, so we're going to take the 1, which is figure number 1, times the 2. The figure number 2 times 2 to get this. We're not trying to get the next one in line. Does everybody understand that? So we are multiplying, say multiply the figure number by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. That's what's in that figure. Okay? 2 times 2 is 4. That's what's in that figure. You following me now? 3 times 2 is 6. Thank you, 6. That's how many's in the figure. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so if it says to ask for a rule, somehow you're going to have to figure out what is it doing for each one. So we couldn't have said we're multiplying this number by 2. It worked for this. But I can't do that here. 2 times 2 worked for this, but did 4 times 2 work for that? So do you see how you have to make sure that everything fits with that same rule? Okay, so make sure that the rule you choose goes with everything. All right, let's look down at number 19. It says to classify this figure as many ways as possible. You're going to write quadrilateral, trapezoid, parallelogram, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, or square. Now, can you cross off things you know that they are not right now by looking at it? So, which ones can I cross off? Right away, Elena. Trapezoid, we know it's not that. Okay, what else can I cross off, Don Maurice? Okay, we know it's not a square. Morgan, what else can we cross off? No, it's not a rectangle. So now we have the 3 that are the most difficult, of course. Yes. So who has their foldable out? Something else we need to make sure we've got real handy. Somebody read me what it says about a quadrilateral. Who's got it? Cheyenne, go ahead and read it.
Four-sided polygon with an
Interior.
angle of 360 degrees and an exterior angle of 3.
Okay, so we know it has how many sides? 4. Is that the only place you have it? No, let's look down here. 4-sided polygon, interior angle, sum of 360. Obviously, they're all going to equal 360 if it is a quadrilateral. Okay. Now, if you look at the one that looks like this, where it has all those arrows going to the quadrilateral. Does this fit as a quadrilateral? This shape that we have in front of us. Yes, it sure does. So we're going to write quadrilateral. Now pay attention to the other ones that are going with that. Somebody read you what it says on parallelogram. Can any of you have it?
I do.
Kids, read it to me, please. Congruent. Okay, so let's look at opposite sides. Are these parallel and congruent? The same and not going to touch.
Yeah.
Okay, what about these two sides? Because they're the opposite also. They're going to do the same thing, parallel and congruent?
Yeah.
The same thing else? Opposite angles congruent, so that would be the same thing. So does this fit?
Yep. Yep.
Sure does. All right, who can read me rhombus? Maurice, read what it says there, please. Congruent. Okay, stop. You said 4 congruent sides. Do these have all congruent sides?
Yes.
This is not the same as this. Are you with me? So can this be a rhombus?
No.
No. A rhombus has to have 4 congruent sides. It does not. It has 2 congruent sides and 2 congruent sides, or 2 pairs. Does that make sense? So we have quadrilateral and parallelogram. Guys, I'm going to allow you on your test to be able to use your foldable. So it's there. Use it. Okay? Especially on these. These are probably the ones you're going to need it the most. All right? Let's go on to number 20. Let's read. Evie's birthday is the 18th day of May. Since May is the 5th month, Evie wrote the date like this. She wrote the 5 with a little dash, basically is what you call it, and then an 18. It's like a backspace or slash would probably be the word that you're used to using. Hyphen dash goes the other direction. So it says Evie says all the numbers that she wrote have line symmetry. Is she correct? And explain your thinking. So take a look at those. The numbers that she wrote all have line symmetry. Logan, what are your thoughts? Okay, what?
Because you flip 5 over, it will not equal the same.
Flip it over, meaning from where to where?
In the middle, because one side.
Okay, in the middle, going across or down? Gotta be specific.
But
Okay.
one side has like a square end, and the other side would have a circle.
So he's saying if you drew it here, you couldn't fold it over. Could I draw it here and fold it and still be the same? Okay, so my answer is no. Are the other numbers still okay though? Can I do 1 and 8?
Yes.
Okay. So no. Because the 5 cannot be folded in half where 2 parts are equal. Does that make sense? Sometimes we get to write and then we don't read what we're writing. Make sure it makes sense. Because the 5 cannot be folded in half where the 2 parts are equal. And as Logan explained to you, the 5 up top is flat and the 5 below is round. If I did it the other way, one side of it is round and the other part is flat. Right? Question? That's fine. That's up to you guys. Make sure it still makes sense in the sentence. Okay?